Welcome back to Ranch Beat, where every country song has a story and we tell it. I'm James, and today, what if I told you that a single DJ in a town of 12,000 once refused to take a record off the air until the whole county could sing it? It sounds like a tall tale, but that stubborn hour of rotation changed a demo into a regional smash. Here's what most people don't know. Radio used to be the engine that turned songs into rituals. Now here's where it gets interesting. How did that actually work?
And I'm Sam. Stick around. Over the next hour, we'll follow 3 anonymized case arcs, a small market champion who kept a record alive, a dance hall pairing that made a song part of a ritual, and a college station revival that recontextualized a track and sent it back into rotation. We'll also give you a listening lab so you can spot these moves in your own town.
Fast overview, quick and useful. Local radio doesn't just press play. Programmers think in rotations, sets, and moments. There's the rotation count, how often a record gets played in a day, the set placement, meaning which songs surround it, and the context, a 2-song opening to a morning show versus a midnight specialty hour. DJs can seed songs at dances, read listener call-ins that create momentum, and program directors decide whether a record graduates to heavy rotation. Most of the time, those decisions are human, not algorithmic.
Let me add one thing to that. Small stations have different goals. A big market PD might chase ratings across demographics. A small market PD might be thinking about the Friday night dance crowd or a local business that sponsors a block of airtime. That changes which songs they choose to push and why some tracks get an extra week or 2 of attention that makes all the difference.
Okay, Case Arc 1, the small market champion. Picture a town with one AM/FM combo, a DJ who grew up there, and a band from a neighboring county who dropped a demo at the station. The label wasn't ready to send promo dollars. The demo got shelved, but the DJ liked it and started slipping it into the late afternoon set. People heard it after school, in pickup trucks, and diners. A local bar hosted a songwriter night where the chorus caught on. Within weeks, the station's program director was telling the label, "You need to come listen." That local airplay pushed retail sales, single copies at the hardware store, and a regional distributor picked it up. Before this was a hit, it was just an idea and a DJ who didn't quit.
Here's the verification checklist for producers who want to source a story like this. Find station playlists or logs if available, check trade publications and regional sales reports, look for contemporaneous local paper mentions, community papers love covering hometown artists, and identify eyewitnesses like bartenders, local promoters, or the DJ. If you can't get primary logs, triangulate with multiple eyewitness accounts and label memos. Most importantly, treat single-source anecdotes as reported and label them as such.
And here's a little red flag to watch for. Memory dresses itself in color. A single night at a dance can feel legendary years later. That doesn't mean it didn't matter, just that we should corroborate the size of the effect. But the pattern? DJ champions a song, crowds start singing it, regional sales rise, is replicable and documented more often than you'd think.
Case Arc 2, Dance Halls and Program Sets. Now this one is a favorite. Imagine a song that has a teachable dance step or a groove that fits a 2-step at the local Veterans Hall. Program directors noticed, if a song works for that Friday night set, it becomes ritual. The CD or record gets slotted into a dance hall favorites block, and the DJ announces, "This one's for the 2-steppers tonight." People learn it physically, hands, feet, moves, and that embodied learning locks the song in memory. When a program director pairs a record with a weekly live segment, New Tunes at 8, it converts curiosity into habit.
Now this is real country. Pairing a song with a ritual makes it communal. Listen to this line for a second. When a DJ says, "This one's for the folks dancing at the VFW," it signals endorsement. That's weighty. Local radio doesn't just play music. It hands the song a role in people's social lives. When that role fits, danceable beat, sing-along chorus.
Practically speaking, program directors keep set logs. If you're researching, ask for show logs from the dance night program. Look for recurring placements and promotional mentions, like sponsored by or live after the show. Those small sponsorship ties often mean the station is invested in making the song part of the night.
Case Arc 3, the Community and College Revival. This one's about recontextualization. A non-commercial station, college radio, community FM, finds an overlooked or out-of-print song and treats it like a discovery. DJs there often have more freedom to play longer tracks or deep cuts. They put it in a themed hour, Americana Obscurities or Roots Revival. Suddenly, listeners who follow that station start sharing it on early social forums, mixtapes appear, and a small but dedicated audience forms. That audience can include DJs at other small stations and even key tastemakers who feed the song back into commercial playlists.
An important mechanism here is credibility. When a respected college show frames a record as something special, it changes perception. Producers should look for show archives, archived playlists, and zine or blog mentions that reference the station's support. If possible, interview the community DJ who reintroduced the track. Often they'll remember the date they played it and why.
So far, patterns are emerging: timing, context, and human endorsement. But who's actually making these choices? Let's name roles and what they do. Program director sets rotations and decides which records graduate. Music director or assistant curates the playlist and fields promos. On-air personalities create moments, read liners, and add personality that makes a song feel local. Label promo reps. They hustle records to DJs and try to build local buzz. And don't forget promoters and local venues. If a band sells out of town, radio notices.
For producers hunting credits, check station mastheads for program director names. Search trade press for promo rep activity, and consult public FCC filings for station format and ownership changes. Music licensing databases sometimes hold logs for commercial airplay. When you can, cross-reference label press kits and local newspaper show listings to reconstruct a timeline.
Now let's do the listening lab. This is for you, the listener. I want you to pick one song you remember hearing first on local radio. Put on your headphones, and we'll run 3 quick radio cues to mark in your notes. 1. Time of day. Did it play during morning commute, drive time, or a specialty hour? 2. Pairing. What songs came before and after it, or was it introduced with a tagline or shout-out? 3. Endorsement. Did it DJ name-check a venue, sponsor, or say, "This one's for someone"? Those 3 things change how a listener experiences and remembers a song.
I'll add a small tip. When you're marking time of day, look for patterns across a week if possible. One airplay at midnight is different from repeated afternoon spins. And for pairing, try to remember if the song followed a classic or another local favorite. That context shapes listener expectation and emotional reception.
Okay, sourcing and clearance notes for producers. If you're planning to include clips or quote station IDs, start clearance early. Trade publications like Country Aircheck and regional newspapers can corroborate playlist moves. Station playlists and daily logs, when available, are gold. Request them. If interviews are impossible, prepare anonymized case sketches and label them as reconstructions. And importantly, avoid turning this into personnel criticism. We're tracing mechanics and habits, not assigning blame.
Also, build a fallback plan. If you can't secure interviews or logs, use public archives, contemporaneous ads, ticket stubs, or retail sales mentions to support the arc. And when using anecdotal memories, flag them as such and aim to corroborate with at least one independent source.
Wrap-up time. So what's the takeaway? 3 radio cues to listen for next time a song breaks locally: time of day, pairing and set context, and the human endorsement, the DJ or program director who puts their name behind the record. Those are the levers that turn a demo into a ritual, and a ritual into a hit. Next time you hear a song on your local dial, you'll notice these moves. Suddenly, the radio doesn't feel mysterious. It feels like a strategy you can trace.
And for the record, this isn't nostalgia for nostalgia's sake. It's a lesson in human curation. Even in the playlist era, people still shape stories about songs. Knowing how that works makes you a savvier listener and gives songwriters and producers tools to think about where a record might land first.
Before we go, a quick note on risks we considered while putting this episode together. Anecdotes about specific DJs or stations can be hard to verify. Interviews or station logs may not be available, and there's a danger of drifting into gossip. We treated single-source memories as illustrative and labeled them as reported, recommended early outreach to archives and program directors, and kept the focus on mechanics, what happened and why, rather than personalities or policy critiques.
That approach keeps this episode evidence-first and respectful of regional scenes.
If you're a producer or researcher and want our sourcing checklist, we've got a short PDF linked on the show notes with trade outlets, suggested archives, and interview questions. It walks you through the verification steps James just mentioned.
And now our CTA. If you remember a song you first heard on a local station, we'd love to hear about it. Subscribe to Ranch Beat, leave a comment, or send a short voice note to the show inbox telling us the song, the station, and how you first heard it. We'll feature some of those stories in upcoming episodes because the best parts of this history are the people who lived it. Every country song has a story, and we tell it.
Subscribe, drop a note, and if you've got a clip or an old playlist you'd be willing to share, mention that in your message. We're looking for leads for future deep dives.
Ranch Beat, where every country song has a story, and we tell it. Until next time, keep listening for those little radio moves. They're quieter than a trending playlist, but often louder in the long run.